3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision for the Week That Was, where we cover the news and events for the week ending Friday, March 7th, 2025. I'm Aaron Taylor. Thanks for joining us. This week, students voted to elect new executive officers for the Student Government Association. Caden Walker has the results.
This week is election week at Troy University. Students say it's a time filled with excitement and anticipation for students as well as those running to be elected. We begin the week on Monday as candidates gathered in the Trojan Center ballroom to present their platforms as well as engage with the student body. Tuesday was a day of waiting for students and the last seconds for candidates to publicize their campaign. And on Wednesday at 8 a.m., the polls were open. Students had the opportunity to vote in their student emails.
For me, it's very important, especially if you have the option to vote. Everyone should be voting. It was really easy to vote in the election. They made it a very smooth process.
And on Wednesday evening, call-outs. Students gathered on the JRL quad patiently awaiting the platform party as they gather on stage to announce the results of the election.
The 2025-2026 Executive Vice President is Jaden McQueen.
I'm going to announce the 99th Student Government Association President, and that is Mr. Caleb Smith.
And the president and executive vice president say that they are finishing up work for this year and they're excited to work together next year in their new roles.
Yeah, so my next steps as executive vice president are just to, finish out my Senate term. I still have work to do. I still have bills to write and resolutions to recommend. I even have meetings that I need to, just tie up some loose ends.
The first thing I'm very excited to do is to get my presidential cabinet set up. I've got to appoint a chief of staff, appoint my new cabinet members, traffic appeals committee. Very excited to get my team ready to go so we can accomplish all that we're looking forward to getting done here at Troy University in the next year.
This year, Troy University students broke records at the ballots, the voting number reaching almost 1,000 plus, the highest it's ever been in an exec election in university history.
This sets a tone for what is to come next, and as many great leaders have said, the best is yet to come.
Caden Walker, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Making a decision about where to go to college can be a challenge for high school students. However, this weekend, Troy University will be trying to make that decision a little bit easier for a group of visitors. Simon Brown shows us how.
The Troy campus will be filled with prospective students as the school holds its Spring Trojan Day this Saturday, a chance for students making a college decision to check out Troy.
It's an opportunity for students and their families to tour our campus and meet lots of different current students and faculty and staff who would be a part of their student journey once they become students here at Troy.
Mackenzie adds that sometimes just seeing the campus and what it has to offer is enough to help a student make their collegiate decision.
We've got a beautiful campus here at Troy, and so having people be able to see that and see the facilities that we have to offer. We actually start the day in Trojan Arena, so they get some athletics feel there as well. So it's great to just get people here. Not many people have been here if they're not interested in touring colleges, so it's great to get them here and show them what we know that we have.
Participants will start their day in Trojan Arena with a browse session to learn about what groups and activities Troy has to offer, and that will lead into a variety of activities around campus.
After the browse session, we will have a full scholarship, housing, admissions presentation covering more the logistical side of the college admissions process. We're also fortunate enough to have a representative from our academic departments as well. So we'll hear from them on what their colleges offer through a Troy academic panel, and then our Trojan ambassadors will take them out on a campus tour.
Every year, Troy University's Communications Honor Society, Lambda Pi Eta, hosts an alumni panel, giving students an opportunity to gain insight from industry professionals who were once in their shoes. Tavares Dennis has more.
Lambda Pi Eta's alumni panel brought students face-to-face with industry professionals who were once Troy University students. Pizza and professionals allow journalism and communication to be explored on a deeper level than the classroom.
different options for their future career and give them helpful advice and tips from people who are in their shoes, people who have graduated from the Hall School of Journalism and Communication at Troy University. So they have been where the students have been themselves, and they have gone on to be successful, so that way they can really learn and get that first-hand advice from them.
Students in attendance were given tips and tricks for college and beyond, including how to separate yourself in the field of employment.
Back to more, like go to do more like speaking things, stuff like that. I think that would open up a lot more doors.
Those in attendance were also allowed to pick the brains of the alumni speakers, creating a space for more personal messages to be expressed.
It's something they can do too, and I just want them to understand that take the advantage of the resources that you have now, whether that's in PR, communications, radio, TV, newspaper. Like there's so many resources you have now that you need to take advantage of while you can.
And having the chance to hear from alumni gave Troy students a glimpse into their possible futures in the working world. Tavares Dennis, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Still to come on Troy TrojanVision's The Week That Was, some Troy University organizations had some creative ways to raise money. We'll show you how coming up.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Troy University's Jazz Ensemble held its first major concert of the spring at the studio in downtown Troy. In addition to the music, something special was waiting for two chosen members of the jazz band. Will Eldridge has the story.
Thursday evening, the Jazz Ensemble took the stage downtown for a night of music and honoring tradition.
It's a very special night for us. Once a year, we have a concert of which a Troy alumni, John Mazzell, comes here and helps to present an award. We're so excited that we have two $4,000 awards, which will be presented to two jazz band members tonight.
John Mazzell, the man responsible for the scholarship, has a deep-rooted history at Troy. His mother was a pianist at Troy who graduated in 1931. Mazzell also played under the great Johnny Long and eventually became Long's concertmaster in 1963.
I like to help these kids. It's probably not a lot of money, but I hope to make it a full ride eventually. It gives me great pleasure to have more money than I need. I fund this scholarship. It'll be funded even more after I pass.
The two scholarship recipients happen to both be longtime trombone players.
Well, I started on trombone, and when I went into band in middle school, I had started getting interested in jazz about halfway through high school.
I chose bass trombone partly because of tradition. A lot of the men in my family play trombone, but mostly because my dad, he was a big influence as a bass trombonist himself and a band director. He's why I ended up here.
Across the nation, millions of people struggle with the realities of poverty every day. To raise awareness and foster empathy, Troy's Office of Civic Engagement gave students a chance to experience what would it be like to live with these struggles. Alexis Phelps has more.
Troy University's Civic Engagement Group held their poverty simulation this week in the TC ballrooms. Students who attended the event got to participate in a hands-on experience that simulates poverty.
We basically all were put into families and we all had our own dynamic. I had two brothers, a mom and a dad. My dad was unemployed. I was 16 and pregnant. And we had to find a way to survive the month with all being put in, poverty cases being lower than the middle class. It was interesting, but we managed to survive. We didn't get evicted. Our lights stayed on, and yeah.
Members of Troy University's Civic Engagement Group strongly encourage students to attend.
We really want students to attend because it allows them to have an immersive experience in what it's like to live on a limited income and experience the increase or rise in prices in everyday items. This really enlightens them to better serve going forward in their future careers.
The poverty simulation gives students a chance to understand what living paycheck to paycheck is really like.
I guess it's an awakening for most people, especially like kids our age. You don't really think about things like this until you get into the situation. You don't really think about how people have to provide for themselves and their family. I just think it's one of those events that everybody needs to participate in.
The date for the next simulation will be announced next semester by Troy's Civic Engagement Group. Alexis Phelps, Troy, TrojanVision News.
One student organization decided to embrace the chilly temperatures with an ice bucket challenge for charity. Every bucket dumped raised proceeds for a good cause. Sarah Campbell has more.
Buckets and bags of ice may not seem like typical fundraising items, but the Student Unity and Service Council is using them to make a difference.
Today our event was the Ice Bucket Challenge, # Troy Takes the Lead. Our goal is to create unity among our community. So basically what we'll do is we'll have different organizations partner with us for different events that enrich our community.
Students could donate either $2 for a cup of ice and water, $5 for a bucket, or $10 for a cooler. With every donation, members of the organization braced for impact.
With everything that we're doing, it's either going to enrich our Troy community or local agencies around us.
Every dollar raised went to support the Pike Regional Child Advocacy Center, an organization dedicated to helping children and families in need.
They really do emphasize helping people who cannot help themselves or people who just genuinely are too scared to speak up. Everything we do isn't to benefit us. None of this money goes into our pockets. It's all for a greater cause that's around us. So it's just highlighting what we need in this community and to help the people who help us.
Taylor says these children are what made every cold collision worth it.
It was really, really cold, but it wasn't for me, it was for the kids. So I enjoyed it, even though, I had to take it. It was okay.
This event is just one of many the organization used to honor their values of enrichment and community. Sarah Campbell, Troy, TrojanVision News.
While one organization was freezing students, another was sticking them to the walls. Simon Brown has the story.
Habitat for Humanity held Stick It to the Team, where students could pay $2 to tape a football player to the wall. Habitat for Humanity's Vice Chair of Fundraising, Stephanie Fletcher, shared who the proceeds would benefit.
The proceeds of this event will be going to Asheville, North Carolina, which was devastated and destroyed by a storm surge caused from Hurricane Helene. They had no time to prepare, families were separated, homes were washed away, and it's an all-around tragic event. So any proceeds that we make today will be going to them.
Wide receiver Jawan Bond shared what it felt like being stuck to the wall.
Feel kind of weird, just being taped up, just sticking to the wall, but it's for a good cause though.
While taping football players to the wall may be fun, Fletcher wants students to keep in mind what matters most.
I want them to not only be aware of events that happen around our country that devastates family and separated, but to just understand that you can help little by little just by doing something in your own community and getting everybody together.
When Habitat for Humanity isn't building houses, the organization is building hope. Simon Brown, Troy, TrojanVision News.
March is Women's History Month, and in honor of the month, the University Activities Council transformed the quad into a space dedicated to honoring the incredible contributions of women in the lives of students. Caden Walker has the details.
Throughout the day Wednesday, you may have seen people gathered holding flowers. Well, the University Activities Council say that they hosted this event in honor of Women's History Month.
This Wednesday, since it's Women's Month, we decided to have Old Blue come out and do flowers. It's also just a really hectic time, and so flowers just bring such positivity and light, and that's just a great way to end the week.
and some students say that they didn't want to keep the flowers for themselves. They wanted to gift them to someone special.
I'm going to actually give my flowers to my mom. I'm just so thankful for her as a product of adoption. Obviously, like sometimes you get a family that you're given, and you're given a family that you get to choose. So with that, like ultimately, like showing thankfulness in everything I do is something that I really guide myself with. So yeah, that's what helped me make my decision.
Like some of my friends are running in the SGA election, so I was going to give them a flower as like a yay, happy day. I'm about to make my own flowers, and I'm going home this weekend, so I'm going to give them to my friend for her birthday.
And flowers weren't the only option available to students on Wednesday. They also had the choice to enjoy a massage.
It's just 5-minute free massages just to calm down and just get rid of all the stress before midterms.
To stay up to date on all events hosted by the Troy University Activities Council, follow them on Instagram at TroyUAC. Caden Walker, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Coming up on TrojanVision's The Week That Was, we'll have a rundown of Trojan sports action this week, so stay tuned.
When you look at the number of disasters in the U.S., chances are every area will deal with some kind of emergency in the next decade. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Last Friday, Troy men's basketball capped off its season with a win against Southern Miss, and that would prove to carry a great reward along with it. Jack Sturdivant has the story.
Friday night, Troy men's basketball took on the Southern Miss Golden Eagles in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. The Trojans would win 70-58 and would be crowned regular season conference champions.
Of course, our guys had to do their part and play hard, but we needed some help. I've been praying for this. We've had those tough losses. 14 points separates us from being undefeated in the league. I think our guys are definitely deserving of a championship. And, it's a beautiful thing. It's definitely my best day since I've been a coach here. This is what we're striving for.
Against the Golden Eagles, Trojan senior Taton Conaway recorded his 89th steal with the Trojans to break the record previously held by Bobby Dixon.
Just good to come back after that last season. Definitely come out here and just, I know a lot of people think I don't play defense, so it helps a little bit on that end too. So it feels good.
The Trojans enter the Sun Belt tournament as the number 3 seed, getting a bye all the way to the semifinals, where they will play the winner of Game 8.
That's great. I mean, I would have loved to bye to the semifinals, but who knows? It may work in our favor. Get a little bit of rhythm in the Bay Center. 3 games in 3 days. We're used to it. We're road warriors. Our guys are definitely built for this, and we're more as capable as anybody of going in there and winning 2 or 3 games and going to the NCAA tournament.
Jack Sturdivant, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And Jack was in Trojan Arena when the team celebrated their championship.
Monday night, Troy men's basketball celebrated their 2024-2025 regular season championship with a net cutting ceremony inside of Trojan Arena.
It's great because you put in so much work. I mean, we've been going since June 1st, and it's hours and hours and hours. We go through boot camp, which is probably the hardest week of these guys' lives. And, and then we challenge them in practice. We're on them. We're relentless. That's what I told them in the locker room. Was it worth it? Was all the work worth the reward? And, it's nice that they finally get the reward because they've been working so hard.
Among those who took a piece of the net was Troy's first ever Sun Belt Player of the Year, Taton Conaway.
They kind of gave me that second team second team preseason, which kind of fueled a little fire, and not really a disrespect, but I kind of took it on the chin, and I felt like attacking that how I did, so I'm glad it ended up like this.
The Trojans get a bye all the way to the quarterfinals of the Sun Belt Tournament, where they will take on the winner of Game 8.
We're going to celebrate tonight. After this, we're going to take these shirts, we're going to put them in our closet. We're not going to bring them back out until the season's over with, because we have bigger goals. I want our guys to have a one-track mind and get better tomorrow, get better the next day, go in there, win one game at a time, 3 days in a row. And then if we do that, then we'll reach all of our goals, and I firmly believe that this group is capable of doing that.
Jack Sturdivant, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And the women were not able to end their regular season with a win. Jimmy Nichols has that story.
The Troy women's basketball team fell to Arkansas State in a nail-biter Saturday night, losing 89-85, with the Trojans trailing by 13 starting the fourth quarter.
I'm really proud of the team and the way we battled today. We closed a tremendous gap that we had from the first time we played this team in many ways. I mean, figured out ways to play them. Towards the end of the game, we were just gaining momentum off of everything we've learned.
The loss to the Red Wolves also cost the Trojans the 2 seed in the Sun Belt Tournament. Troy will now be entering as the 3 seed.
Going to the tournament third, of course, that's not ideal. That's not what we want, but, you know, everything's not ideal in this world. We have to make lemonade out of lemon and be thankful that we are third and get a game plan of how to go one at a time, win 3 games there.
The Trojans are not concerned about any new obstacles as they will focus on their mindset.
I think we had a different type of fight tonight, one that I've never seen before. I think we were all determined to get it. Yes, we did come up short, but I mean, we were on one page. We wanted one thing, and I do think that it will carry over into the tournament, and God put us in this position, so this is where he wanted us, so we're just going to fight to get to that championship.
Troy will travel to Pensacola for the Sun Belt Tournament with their first game on Saturday. Jimmy Nichols, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Moving to the Diamond, Troy baseball swept a 3-game home series against the Quakers of Penn over the weekend. Hunter Boozer has the highlights.
Troy baseball shook the Quakers as they swept Penn in a 3-game series. The Trojans would outscore Penn 27-11 over the home stretch, and Troy would only have 2 errors in the entire series. Head coach Skylar Meade would talk about how strong the Trojans played on multiple fronts.
I really thought an outstanding series, and I think maybe most importantly from a long-term perspective, learning to win different ways, to have a calm and collected dugout, you know, when it seems like maybe we're being held at bay offensively, but then to be able to punch when the time was there, take it from a 2-1 game to, you know, quickly 4-1 and then 5 with 2 outs and then get it to 6 with 2 outs. I think that's really good.
The sweep against Penn ends another strong week of baseball action by Troy. Now the Trojans have won 8 straight since their lone loss to Auburn. This also marks the 3rd straight series sweep for Troy on the season. Brooks Bryan would shine during the series with 2 home runs and 8 RBIs against the Quakers. Skylar Meade spoke on his ability to perform with runners on base.
It seems to be something that he has genetically, DNA, whatever it may be. Just big hits that really flip the momentum here. You know, you talk about playing it, whether you're at home or on the road. Obviously, you get the roar of the crowd when you get a big hit at home, but you know, you get a roar of a dugout when you're on the road too, and I think Brooks really provides that, just that juice that happens by the play on the field. When he gets those big, impactful, game-changing hits, it just does something to this place. It does something for our team. So kudos to him. He was outstanding today, and hopefully he can continue that for a long time for the Trojans.
The newly christened 19th-ranked Trojans will be on the road for 9 straight games, starting with a ranked matchup in Tuscaloosa against 17th-ranked Alabama. Hunter Boozer, Troy, TrojanVision News.
And then Tuesday night, Troy took on the Tide in a top 20 matchup. Jack Sturdivant has that story.
Baseball took on the Alabama Crimson Tide at Sewell Thomas Stadium. The Trojans would suffer a 3-1 defeat.
I thought our pitching and defense were so solid. We were locked in on all fronts there, making simple plays, making some tough plays. We just, you know, we got a little bit offensively, but we have one of the best offenses in the country, and I think we'll bounce back quickly. I truly believe that.
The Trojans would go up 1-0 with an early run before the Tide would hit a 2-run home run and later score 1 more run to steal the win.
An elite player got us on probably one of the only, and it wasn't that it was a horrible pitch. He's just a special player. Justin, and a special kid, got us on a ball. That, off the bat you think it's going to hit the wall, but that wind helped prevail it the rest of the way.
The Trojans head to USC Upstate this weekend for their first away series of the year.
We'll kind of start lining up what the game plan looks like. We haven't looked at them, one iota to this point, of course, but we'll be ready to go. We need Gary to set a good tone. We only use one guy in our bullpen, so bullpen will be ready. I hope their work today is reflective of what they will do, because they were certainly prepared, more guys than just Frida. So I'm just excited to get to work tomorrow in practice and in the weight room to make sure that we're ready to go Friday afternoon.
Jack Sturdivant, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Next on The Week That Was, we'll get to know the new Miss Troy University. So stay with us. We'll be right back. I never sucked snot out of Brooks's nose. I will tell you that right now.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
We all dream, but dreams quickly become distant memories unless we do something about it. Do everything in our power to learn to lead. At Troy University, we offer leadership opportunities from day one. We're dedicated to teaching a new generation to lead change. Do you have what it takes to change the world?
Last month, the new Miss Troy University was crowned. Now she's looking at the road ahead as she prepares for Miss Alabama. Sarah Campbell sat down with Grace Shellhouse to find out more in this edition of Trojan Talk.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Trojan Talk. Today I'm here with Grace Shellhouse, who is our newly crowned Miss Troy University. So first of all, thank you so much for joining us here today, and congratulations on your title.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you just kind of walk us through a little bit about how that experience went for you?
Absolutely. So this is my second year competing for Miss Troy University. Last year I competed. One of my friends who was Miss Troy University last year, Sarah Jane Houston, encouraged me to do it. So I was like, yeah, sure. So I competed last year and I just fell in love with the whole process and the whole Miss America organization. And so I came back and I prepared a lot, and then I came back this year and decided to compete again.
Absolutely. Well, you kind of mentioned that, process of preparing and all that. Many people may not be aware of what all it takes to, go into pageantry and all that. So can you kind of walk us through how you prepared for it?
Absolutely. So the preparation process is a lot more than anybody would think, for sure. Obviously lots of workouts and staying disciplined and making sure you're fueling your body with the right food. And then, the talent portion, you have to prepare. I danced on point, which is not something that I usually do. So that took practice on my own time. And then, of course, interview, that takes a lot of preparation. As good as somebody might be at just talking, it does take a lot of preparation in order to just be ready for the hard questions that may come. And then, of course, the most fun part is always evening gown, getting to go try on the cute dresses, and find the one that you really love. So all of that together took up almost a full year. I was really dedicated to it, and I really, really prepared.
Wow, yeah, it sounds like there's so much that goes into that people just don't realize. So, how did it feel when you were crowned, especially being there surrounded by your loved ones and your family? What was the feelings that went through your mind?
Yeah, I was immediately just so humbled. This is such a cool opportunity. I was once told that somebody said this once to me, you have a really unique opportunity as a Troy University student. Not a lot of people can say they're Miss Troy University, and it's humbling to know that the responsibility of being a good ambassador for the university does fall on my shoulders. But it's also just so much fun. I've been Miss Troy I'm going on my third week, and I've had just the time of my life, and I have a really cool, fun year ahead of me.
Yeah, so what are those next steps? Now you're preparing for Miss Alabama, so, how are you getting ready for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the fun stuff is always the appearances, looking cute, telling everybody, hey, go Trojans. The hard part is always finding the dedication and the time to prepare for the title of Miss Alabama, of course, you want to represent yourself well, but you also want to represent the university well. So I am very excited to compete for the title of Miss Alabama. I've already met a couple of the girls and they're so sweet. I think it's going to be a great week.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again on your title, and we're wishing you luck as you prepare for those next steps. So thank you again for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you for joining us on this edition of Trojan Talk.
And that's our time for the week that was. To see what's happening on a daily basis, tune in to Troy TrojanVision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30, Monday through Friday. You can also visit us anytime on our blog at today.troy.edu/TrojanVision. Until next week, have a good week.